Hi guys, welcome to the Sports Bet Daily Show. I'm Alex, I'm your host for today, and I have two guys next to me that they are born ready to talk about tennis. We have a full hour talking about tennis today. We will start with WTA Eastbourne and ATP Eastbourne, but the big part of the show will be Wimbledon futures, Wimbledon round one, best bets. I have Well Capper on top and Snize Master under him. It doesn't matter how it is. I'm the host for today, but the same Well Capper can be the host or Snides can be the host when we're talking about tennis. These guys are here for some treat, and they will bring us some great tips. Let's start. Thank you guys first of all for joining me. It's very tough to be in Natalie's place, but I will try my best to host a nice tennis show. What's up, Well? What a pleasure to have you, and very surprised you are not out in the sunny California.
Didn't quite have enough time to get set up outside today, but that's okay. I've been spending all morning just grinding on this Wimbledon draw. We got a draw finally. I'm so fired up. This is one of the best days of the year when we finally get to see how the draw plays out for this awesome tournament, and I can't wait to dive into this.
Okay, that is awesome. Snize, welcome to the show, mate.
Thank you. Happy to be here. It's been a tumultuous week with the warm-ups. Very excited to get to our third major of the year already. Time flies. So, summer is here.
Yeah, before
tennis is here.
Yeah, before happy Friday. But by the way, happy Friday. Many action on the sports betting industry. We have the Women's World Cup with Whale, Capper, and AJ previewing since the start, and I think that till the finals next week they are doing an amazing job. We have Martin and myself who previewed the African Cup of Nations, Gold Cup, and also Copa America there. But we are in for tennis, and Snize, tell me if anything shocked you in this pre-Wimbledon, let's say week or weeks. But let's talk about this week in general. Some crazy results on Eastbourne. We have an amazing final, a surprising final, I would say, between Sam Querrey and Fritz, and also on the women's side, Kerber and Pliskova. I think that that is not a surprise at all. Tell me, anything shocked you in this week?
I mean, right now it shouldn't come as a shock, but in general, these warm-up tournaments are very difficult to cap. You don't know the players' motivations. Are they saving their energy for Wimbledon? Are they motivated? Are the conditions great? For example, in Antalya in Turkey, we were flirting with 40 degrees and severe humidity. Players were throwing left and right. So in that sense, it isn't surprising that we've seen upsets and upsets galore, and we've seen a ton of them, a ton of seeds. Jo Konta fell in their home tournament in straight sets. Elnes Gulbis lost to a home wildcard ranked 400 plus something in the rankings. So there's been upsets everywhere, and it's been a tough week if you've been trying to cap in this.
I see. Yeah, but crazy tournaments. Yeah, the weather in Europe is crazy. I've seen 47 degrees in Italy and in Spain, in the north of Spain. That is really crazy what is happening in Europe right now. Hopefully on Wimbledon we will not have rainy days, because that is the biggest problem on grass in Great Britain. But they have a nice roof, and they will cope with the issues if they will have rain. Well, Capper, did you bet this week on Eastbourne or Antalya at all?
No, it's tradition at this point. I usually take the week before a slam off entirely. A lot of my handicap comes from understanding motivations of the players and, trying to sort out, okay, well, this guy is, I like to look for the value on the underdogs who are going to try to make a run at the favorites. But when this week before a slam rolls around, you really just don't know who's trying and who's just there for a paycheck. And, there's a lot of, kind of question marks when it comes to motivations. And so I do watch. I always watch. I'd like to, I enjoy just watching the sport, but I usually don't get involved financially this week before a slam. That said, I like some looks tomorrow. I like my boy Sam Querrey to come up with an Eastbourne title. And man,
this is what I wanted to ask you.
Awesome.
Do you have anything for the finals?
So yeah, I like Querrey tomorrow. I think he's undervalued. I think he should be more substantial favorite to Todd Fritz. I think he's much stronger of the two Americans. Granted, he's had a lot of injuries this season. We haven't seen his best form. He's upset Djokovic in the past on grass. We know he's got the game for it. It's smooth. He looks like he's kind of trying to round into form to make something out of this season, which has been lost to this point. So I think he picks up a title here in Eastbourne, and I like him on the money line. I think he should be around minus 150 to minus 200, and he's currently right now trading in the minus 120 range. So I'm going to be backing Querrey for the Eastbourne title tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. Huge value, 1.8 for Sam Querrey tomorrow against Taylor Fritz. Do you have anything on this match, Snize?
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with Whale there. Sam Querrey came back from an abdominal injury, so he hasn't really had much match time lately, but he's looked great here. His big serve and forehand have been clicking, and he's been largely untroubled in cruising to this final. I actually haven't got a price on my books yet, but if he's going to be trading at 1.8 minus 120, that is a huge price. He should never be that small of a favorite versus Fritz, and I'll definitely be betting on Querrey to take home this title.
That's amazing. Both of you are on the same page. I will make it a treble here. Sam Querrey all the way to take the title home, but he will not take it home because he's going to Wimbledon, and in the first match, he will play against Dominic Thiem. A crazy match there. But till there, we have also the women's final at Eastbourne. Very, very, very nice, and I cannot wait to see this match. Very exciting match. Kerber versus Pliskova. Surprisingly, Pliskova is a huge favorite. Is the favorite here at 1.69. While Angelique Kerber is at 2.2. The value is on Angelique Kerber, who had an amazing tournament. She played amazing against Simona Halep. I took her at 2.0 1 hour before the match. So I did well. I went against my girl, but we're here to make money, not to go with the heart. So yeah, do you guys welcome, or do you have anything on this one?
So I'm looking for a 3-setter. I'm on over 2.5 sets. I think that's where the value is. These women are very familiar with each other's game. This will be the 12th head-to-head between the two of them. It's only the second head-to-head on grass. They met back in 2015 in the I think it was the Birmingham final, and that went 3 sets with Angie Kerber coming out on top with the tiebreak in the 3rd set. Wouldn't surprise me to see that here. I understand why Pliskova is the favorite. I mean, her game is so set for being great on grass. She doesn't have the results at Wimbledon. All that said, I get why she's the favorite. I don't really have a lean either way on who's going to win this. But you better be watching, because it would not at all surprise me if there's at some point during, this is potentially, an important preview of a match late in the stages at Wimbledon. So you want to get a feel for how these two women attack each other's game on grass, and it'll just help you for overall understanding Wimbledon, because whoever comes out on top, the other players on tour will be watching this, and we'll try to take similar attack to come away victors, because I think you're talking about 2 clear contenders here for a Wimbledon title.
Yeah, Pliskova absolutely destroyed Kiki Bertens today, 6-1, 6-2. Absolutely smashed her. I've seen the match, and absolutely amazing from Pliskova. On the other side, Angelique Kerber has 1 day extra for resting, because Ons Jabeur retired from this match against her today with an injury who she suffered against Alizé Cornet yesterday. But Kerber, coming after that brilliant match against Halep, also baggled Peterson in the 2nd round of Eastbourne. So both of them are coming into this match full of confidence and in amazing shape. Do you have anything on this, Snize?
I do indeed. As Whale said, this is set to be a gigantic tussle between 2 amazing players, both in great shape. I've looked at both players play, and they've just run through all competition. I was on Pliskova to win her game today. No problem versus Bertens. And it's actually a surprise that she hasn't had more success on grass, and specifically Wimbledon, where she's never been past the fourth round before, because her game is tailor-made for grass. She's got this huge serve and booming flat ground strokes that travel extremely fast and low over the net. So it's a bit of a mystery why success has largely eluded her. And Kerber, she comes in with a deep run in Mallorca, played great here as well. And to me, she's still the best grass player in the world, or if not in the top two. Her counterpunching game is great against power players because she'll get those extra balls back and make it difficult for them. So I struggle to understand why she's this big of an underdog here. She holds a 7-4 head-to-head lead, including 1-0 on grass, and most importantly, 3-1 in finals. They've faced in 4 finals. Kerber has won 3 of them. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and take Kerber on the money line here for 2.25 or a plus 125.
She's a great returner. She's a brilliant defender. She can turn the defending into attack in few seconds. She's absolutely brilliant, and I loved her against Halep. This is why I will take also Kerber on the money line there. And the big moment is coming. Wimbledon 2019. I think that it will be an exciting tournament. Hopefully, we will see something new from the youngsters who we are calling youngsters for the last 3-4 years. They are not young anymore, but they are still not reaching that level on the top of the top 3, Djokovic, Nadal, and Federer. I don't think that either this year we will see one of them winning the title. Let's talk about some future, first of all. First winner of the tournament. We have Novak Djokovic, 2.38. Roger Federer, 4.33. Rafa Nadal at 7. And after that, the gap. Stefanos Tsitsipas, 21. Alexander Zverev, 29. Raonic, 41. Cilic, 41. Thiem, 41. Berrettini, 51. Kyrgios, 51. And so on and so forth. What do you think, Capper? Do you think that we will have a dark horse here? Do you think that the top 3 will be them to lose this? We have also an interesting price here, the big guns, Djokovic versus and Federer against the field. Djokovic and Federer 1.44, the field 2.5. What do you think? What is your approach? You will go with many underdogs and you will catch out in the 4th quarterfinals there, or you are going to take a winner and hope that he will go all the way?
Yeah, boy, I think I do see some. I think both, honestly. I think for on the men's side of the draw, the men's is. I'll go so far as to say this: the men's draw looks more effective to attack than the women's draw. The women's draw is so wide open. I mean, literally take a lotto ticket and enjoy 2 weeks of watching amazing tennis because it is wide freaking open. The men's side, on the other hand, there legitimately are only 3 people who can win, period. You have Djokovic, Nadal, and Federer. One of those 3 will win. I've tried to talk myself into Nadal for a couple of weeks now. The reason I tried to talk myself into Nadal is because his price is by far the best. Not even close, right? We knew he would be seeded 3rd. We knew he would have the toughest draw of the 3. And we know his worst surface is grass. Now, none of this is surprising that you get, a price like, 5-1. That's nice. But I will say, I kind of looked at Nadal's clay season. It took him a long time to kind of get into form, and it took, maybe his cycle of when he peaks as a tennis player was way later this year than it has been in the last couple of years where he's underperformed at Wimbledon. And so I've been kind of using that, kind of that narrative to talk myself into there is some value on him at 5-1. Because I think, we haven't seen him play on grass. We don't, he hasn't taken any wear and tear, since the French Open final where he was spectacular. And if that form, if he didn't peak already, and if he's not waning, if he carries that form into this tournament, then he's going to be very, very, very tough for Federer to beat in the semifinals. And honestly, I think you can pretty much pencil in Djokovic to the final. I don't see anyone in his section, anyone in his quarter, anyone in his half that really will give him a legitimate contest, preventing him from making a Wimbledon final. If for that reason, the fact that he's lined about 50-50 means there's probably some value on Djokovic. I think Djokovic, if you can get him at plus 130, 140, I know they're out there, then I think that's a reasonable ticket to have in your pocket when it comes to the final. Because maybe it's like, it sets up in a very similar way to Nadal at the French Open, where he had an absolute clear path to the final. No one was standing in his way. You saw it the minute the draw came out. It was like, well, Nadal's going to be on the final from the bottom half. And on the top half, you had Djokovic and Thiem on a collision course for the semifinal in the top half. And you were like, that's going to be a bloodbath. Whoever emerges from that is going to be beaten and bloody and bruised, and it's going to have a very tough time against Nadal in the final. It played out exactly that way. I mean, I feel like Snize, I feel like we talked about that with Natalie when we did the French Open preview show even. Like, it was like, that was, whoever emerged from that was going to be in trouble. And I think you're talking about a relatively similar setup here, the way that the draw is stacked up for this setup. And the Federer-Nadal potentially in the semifinal here looks to be a relatively competitive match. I guess you have to tip your head a little bit to Federer because his game on grass is so impressive. But I think Nadal does have life, does have a chance. Djokovic has clear path to the final, so he's got value. It's I guess at this point I'm kind of talking myself into fading Federer, which I know goes against what Snize has to say. So I'll pass the ball here and get some thoughts from you guys.
Yeah, let's pass the ball. Let's play football a little bit with the ball, and we are going to Snize and see his opinion about what you said and about the winner of the tournament and the reasoning.
As well said there, this draw has really opened up for Djokovic. You don't really want to say it's a cakewalk in a slam, but it kind of is. The reigning champion, he's won 3 of the last 4 slams, comes into here. The only thing I would say, he hasn't played any grass tennis yet, so there's a bit of a question mark there, and he doesn't perform well in the heat, and it's going to be hot in London. But apart from that, the draw is not that scary. If he can pass Kohlschreiber, who beat him this year at Indian Wells, if he can beat Kohlschreiber in round 1, I can't see many people stopping him from the final. Potentially Kevin Anderson, if he finds his best tennis, he can be a tough matchup. But Djokovic looks set to come through to the final without too much trouble. Likely faces Federer, who has a pretty tough draw. Obviously going to have to go through Nadal. There's the potential for him to meet an unseeded, dangerous player, Matteo Berrettini, who's really caught fire as of late. So it's a tricky draw to navigate for Federer, and it is a nightmare draw. I do think that Nadal's price is high, as well said, but Nadal just has a brutal draw. It's Sugita, it's Kyrgios, likely Tsonga, Cilic, Thiem, and then Federer. So just the name after name after name. So Nadal might be the one who's battled and bruised by the time he gets to even the semifinal. So I don't think there's going to be much stopping us from seeing a Djokovic-Federer final. And to have an outright ticket on either of those would be the recommended way to go.
Djokovic-Federer final priced at 4.0. I think that is a good approach. Going on with the quarters, I don't think that we should talk about Djokovic quarter. He is priced at 1.44. After that, we have Stefanos Tsitsipas at 8.5. Felix Auger-Aliassime at 11. Medvedev at 17. Goffin at 26, and so on. After that, we have an interesting quarter here. This is what I want to talk with you guys about it. Second quarter, Alexander Zverev, 5.5. Milos Raonic, 6.5. Kevin Anderson, 7.5. Karen Khachanov at 10. Stan Wawrinka at 10. Bautista Agut at 15. Lopez at 15. So this is the value. This is the value quarter. Me personally, I will go with Stan Wawrinka at 10. I think that he represents. I think that the value is on him. Zverev with a choke every time he's playing at majors here. So I don't know. Maybe you have another opinion. Well, what do you think about this quarter?
I've been looking at this one all morning, trying to talk myself into someone who's not a name, someone not at the top of the price list. You're right, Zverev chokes in every in every slam we've seen him playing. We've never seen him really put together an especially impressive run at Wimbledon. His best, if this was a year ago, if this was 2 years ago, you would pretty much pencil Raonic and Zverev into a quarterfinal matchup and say whoever wins that is going to go on. And the last time we saw that, it was Raonic, and he went on and lost to Federer. But looking at kind of both guys' form currently, it's not impressive, which you would think would open up value for a guy like Karen Khachanov. I think that's probably where I'm going with this second quarter in terms of who emerges. I've liked the way that Khachanov has played throughout the season. I like his game for grass. I think he's got the power to be able to put away winners and keep points short. And if he's got to serve on any given day, then he should be dangerous. He's also got by far the easiest path to the fourth round of anyone. I don't think that, obviously Feli Lopez is, again, 2-time Queen's champion, and he's going to have to beat him in the second round. But Feli Lopez, by the time he gets to Wimbledon, you can't expect him to win a best of 5 set. He's just gassed. He's too much he's burned all of his reserve at Queens at this point, and he's just here for a paycheck, I would guess. So I think Khachanov can get to the fourth round fairly easily. And in that fourth round matchup, if he can take out Zverev, then he should have a clean shot at whoever comes out of the top half of the second quarter. Kevin Anderson is a fair guess at that. Raonic has a chance. I'm not interested in a Stan Wawrinka price here. He's been way too inconsistent on grass over the course of his career. I know he wants to get some points. I know he wants to go deep into this tournament so he can up his ranking, so he can be better situated to try to take a crack at the U.S. Open. But it's the grass is just it's not his game. It's not his bag. He's going to have a tough time in that spot. So I'm going to look for Khachanov here to come out of the second quarter.
Wait to see if he will meet Alexander Zverev later in the stage, because Alexander Zverev has two tough matches at the start. Irgi Vesely. After that, I presume that he will play with Damir Djumur. After that, he might meet Benoit Paire. So you never know with Alexander Zverev there. And also, I think Khachanov will have a tough time with Bautista Agut, if you ask me, in the third round. But anyway, that's your opinion. I respect it. So Khachanov on this quarter, what do you have on this quarter, Snize?
Like well said, it's a pretty competitive quarter. We have a couple of big names here. I think there are question marks over pretty much every single big name here. Looking at the draw, for example, we had Guido Pella, who beat Marin Cilic last year. He comes in here without a grass win. We have Stan Wawrinka, who's been jumping back and forth between grass coaches all of his career, never to have any large success. We have Milos Raonic, who has injury doubts over his head. We've got Zverev, who obviously chokes in slams, not reliable. And to me, that leaves Kevin Anderson and Karen Khachanov. Kevin Anderson has been struggling with tennis elbow for the majority of this season. But obviously, many people will have remembered his run to the Wimbledon final last year, defeating both Roger Federer and Isner in 5-set epics. He did look a little bit rusty, but apart from that, he looked better than I would expect him to do in his comeback on grass. And I think if he gets firing, Kevin Anderson is the guy I would back there to emerge out of that one.
Well, two great bets from that quarter. Do you have anything from the other 3 quarters? Because obviously we have Roger Federer at 1.73 to win his quarter, followed by Isner at 15, Kenny Shikori at 15. So for Federer, that quarter looks very, very easy. After that, we have Rafa Nadal at 2.5 to win his quarter, Dominic Thiem at 8, Marin Cilic at 8.5, and Nick Kyrgios at 12 there, who will probably meet Rafa Nadal in the second round. And we have some great props with Nick Kyrgios. Will Nick Kyrgios be penalized for racket abuse? 2.2 for yes, and 1.5 for no. So, do you have something else for the other three quarters? Is nice.
I don't have anything in particular for the rest of the quarters, but I do have a couple of long shot on the outrights. I took most of these back in early June, so I figured I might also throw them out here. I got Matteo Berrettini outright at 700 to 1 back in June, earlier this month. He really found his feet on the green stuff, and his varied, powerful game translates incredibly well to grass. He's been a break point saving machine and a service point. I think he had a streak of 99 of 100 service game holds or something like that. It was absolutely incredible. Straight set in most of the opposition. One Stuttgart went to the Halle semifinal, and that price obviously isn't still here. That was insulting. He's still available at 50 to 1, and I have him as a dark horse to beat Kei Nishikori and reach the quarterfinal there against Federer. So you might take that and find some ways to hedge out of that one to make a little bit of profit. I also went on Jan-Lennard Struff outright. Got him at 500 to 1. He's a late bloomer who's elevated his level even more post-fatherhood. He has a huge serve and also big ground strokes, and he's always a threat on the green stuff. So I went ahead and took those two on the long shots there. Rafael Nadal isn't a bad look to emerge from his quarter. Might toss down some action on that one. That's a pretty decent price. But nothing in particular on the quarters now.
How about you, Will? Do you have something in particular for those three quarters or a long shot like Snize has?
So the Berrettini play that Snize has is just ridiculous. That's an amazing number for him. And I was going to bring him up as a very, very realistic shot to emerge from his section and play Federer in the quarterfinal. Like, that is a very real possibility. He is, he's in there with Nishikori, who I don't rate especially strongly on grass. He's in there with, Isner, who we know is just coming off of a long injury and may not be his best. So I think that is a great look on Berrettini. There's probably still value out there on it. Let me see what the current market has him on number-wise. 41 to 1. Wow, you got him at 700 and he's down to 41 to 1. Unbelievable. 41 to 1, there's not a ton of value at that point price, because he's best case scenario, he gets to the quarterfinal and he gets smashed by Federer. I think Section 5 of the draw is worth paying a little bit of attention to. As Snize mentioned, Nadal got a brutal draw. Brutal. A lot of strong players in that little section there. I still think Nadal emerges, but he's going to take a lot of damage getting out of there. Cilic is going to be a tough match. Song is going to be tough. Kyrgios is going to be tough. He does not have an easy match at any point in this draw. Once that sets up, though, the top half of that, which has Dominic Thiem, who I do not think is in any way, shape, or form a threat to go deep in this tournament. I think there will be some players in that section there that may get a crack at, Nadal. Maybe Nadal, by the time you get to the quarterfinal, he's like gassed, his knee is super taped up, and he withdraws, right? Like that's a very realistic possibility. So I'm looking for outrights in the long price outrights in that section there. Guys that I have circled, guys who have played well on grass this cycle. Gilles Simon pops immediately. He could emerge from there. He's got a very, very favorable path. Fognini even, he's played amazing tennis this year. He's gone deep in Wimbledon before. He gave Andy Murray hell a couple of years ago deep in the tournament. Looked like he could have gone the distance there. So yeah, I like in that section. I like Fognini, Simone, and Christian Garin, the Chilean young kid from Chile. He's shown some pretty decent form on grass. He's a good young emerging kid. He could make a little bit of a run here. And you can get all three of those guys for prices that I think are under market, just because they may wind up in the semifinals by accident if Nadal ends up getting hurt or pulling out, or just is vulnerable in that quarterfinal matchup. So I'm looking at Simone right now is 232 to 1. That's pretty damn bettable. Fanini is 220 to 1. And Guerin is 360 to 1. So those are the three real long shots that I think still have value. They're all in the same section, so you're really only expecting one of those guys to emerge and have a crack at a beaten, bruised Nadal in the quarterfinal there, or get through to the semifinal. So you have that big old ticket in your pocket while they take on Federer as like a plus 800 dog or something like that. I'm trying to, they're going to be enormous dogs to Federer in that semifinal, but that's really what you're trying to get with those value odds at this point.
Okay, we are finishing with some props. First time winner, 3.5. Highest number of games played in a match, over 68.5 games in a match, priced at 1.87. Largest margin of victory, 13.5 at 2.0. Do you think that someone is able, one of the top three, is able to cover that minus 13.5 line in the entire tournament?
I'm going to say
if
yes.
Novak Djokovic faces Malik Jasiri in the second round, I think he covers that.
Yeah,
I think he blows them out of the water. Apart from that, it is grass, so it's going to be very tough. Obviously, service breaks are at a premium at the surface. So it would have to be one of the gargantuans in an early round just smacking someone who's just there to take some money and run with it, basically. So it's unlikely, but I'd say if Djokovic faces Jesse, yeah.
Do you think it's a good
price
to take that?
Pounded.
2.0.
Yeah, I think it's worth it. I think there'll be a couple blowouts. It's been in round one especially. There are some huge lopsided mismatches, and Federer doesn't like to. Federer, I think, is obviously he's set up well to make a decent run here. I can think of a lot of week one center court matches that Federer's been in where he's covered that spread because he likes to take care of business pretty quickly. He doesn't want to be out there, toiling away, burning his reserves that he's going to need for week two. So I think there's a lot of opportunities for that. If you can get at that, would you say it was 2.0 basically?
2.0, yeah, 2.0, yeah, double your money.
Yeah, that's worth a swing. You got 63 matches, right? There's a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, exactly. You have more than 63 matches, I think, that because we have also a prop highest number of total matches completed in 3 sets, over 59.5 matches at 1.87. Total matches completed in 4 sets, over 35.5 matches at 1.87. Crazy. Shop around for your odds because there are plenty of prop bets offered by your bookies and you don't know about them, and they have plenty of value. And some long shots here, Novak Djokovic to win the tournament without dropping a set at 17. Roger Federer without dropping a set to win the tournament at 51. I think that at 51, that is huge. But I don't think that Federer will not drop a set because from the quarters and after he will meet the big guns there. So finishing with the men's part with your favorite bets for round one, Snize.
Just to recap that prop bet of over, I think it was 68.5 games. What was that priced at?
Highest number of games played in a match, over 68.5 games.
Mm-hmm. What the price for that?
1.87.
Okay, I might take a shot with that because I'm seeing a matchup here with Berrettini and Isner in round 3. That seems extremely likely to go over that number. I think it's going to be tiebreak city, coin flips left and right. Very likely goes 5 sets, and then they'll just keep playing. I don't see either player breaking serve that often there.
Isn't that the
So
rule
yeah,
this year at Wimbledon with 12-12 in the final set to be a tiebreaker?
it is.
Yeah, it's the first time they're doing that. Okay, give me your best bets for round one, please.
So obviously the draw just dropped a few hours ago. I haven't actually had the time to look over just all of these round one matchups. There are 126 on both sides. So what I've done right now is just I've gone with a few sneaky parlays to start us off. Obviously, we'll be adding to this over the weekend here for Mondays and Tuesdays action. But on the men's side, I've started with Marin Cilic, Benoit Paire, and John Isner all to win. That's priced at 2.31 or plus 131 for a nice little money line parlay there. But all of them should be getting through their matches without too much difficulties.
Okay, that's great. There's some interesting matches in round one. Kyrgios versus Thompson, his fellow Australian there. I think that match would be very interesting. Luca Pouille versus Richard Gasquet, two guys from France. Very interesting match also there. Not particularly, both of them love clay, not grass, so it will be interesting how they will play each other here. Dominic Thiem versus Sam Querrey. I think that this is the most interesting match of the first round on the men's side. And finally, Fabio Fognini versus Francis Tiafoe. I think that this will be an exciting game too. What do you have for us, Will? Do you have any top bets for round one?
Yeah, so my three favorite looks are all overs, game overs. The Cilic-Manarino match should be a very, very competitive match. I like Cilic to come through there, but I don't believe it'll be easy. I like over 38 games there. Chardy versus Klizan also. Then all three of these matches also pop because I have a relatively high likelihood of there being more than one tiebreak as well. So Cilic-Manarino over 38. Chardy Klizan over 37.5, and Giron Lopez over 38. I think all three of these. I think we're in all three cases we're talking about 4 sets at a minimum, 2 tiebreaks at a minimum. So I think you have value on over games over in all three of those looks. Those are my favorite for round one. As far as players who underdogs who I think have a legitimate shot at an upset. I'm going to point to I'm going to go to Ruben Bellemans against Stan Wawrinka. I've seen Stan lose in round one of this tournament an awful lot of times. I think Bellemans will likely not be able to take it the distance and pull off the upset. So I'm going to back Bellemans on the handicap, which is plus 5.5 games. And then the last one I had circled, if we want something exciting here, I had one more underdog who I thought was way too much value on. Oh no, I wasn't actually. I was looking at Munar potentially pulling off an upset against Edmund, with Edmund going particularly deep into this, this recent tournament, and having the nerves of being the #1 British tennis player in Wimbledon. I think sets up an opportunity for him to be a little bit tight. I think Munar is a good young player. I think he can challenge him and compete well. So I liked Munar at plus 350. I think is a pretty laughable price. I think he's got a very reasonable chance at pulling off an upset there. So I'm on the Kyle Edmund fade train.
Okay, that's everything from the men's side. We are going to the ladies, and Nike just prepared a special outfit for Serena Williams. She will have the sign of Nike on her blouse with 34 Swarovski crystals, meaning that she was 34 years old when she last won Wimbledon last time in 2016. I don't know. I think that it will be very, very tough for her to play with that sign on her blouse, if you ask me. But let's see how she will handle it. Anyway, she's here to make some more money. I don't think that she will be able to have a deep run. On the women's side, like you guys said, it's very, very open. Winners market. Ash Barty at 7. She was 41 a few months ago. Karolina Pliskova qualified in Eastbourne in the final at 9.0. Angelique Kerber at 9.0. Serena Williams, unbelievable wedges at 9.0 there too. Petra Kvitova, who might not play, she will decide tomorrow if she will play or not, at 15. And unbelievable, she will play Ons Jabeur, who she will decide also tomorrow if she will play, because she got injured in Eastbourne. Naomi Osaka at 17, Simona Halep at 18, Kiki Bertens at 23, and great prices on Sabalenka at 51, Anisimova at 41, Bencic at 41, Muguruza at 51. Great prices for underdogs who might have a deep run. I mean deep run, third, fourth round there, and after that you can cash out. For example, Sabalenka, who is at how much I said for Sabalenka? I said at 51. So you can cash her. I think that she will make a deep run, and you can cash out later in the stage. But what do you guys think? Well, what do you have for the winners market?
Man, it is so tough. No, okay, so I had a couple of long shot, the medium shots, I guess, circled, because I think the right way to attack this is to try to grab about 3 players who are in different parts of the draw and look for 1 or 2 of them to make it to the semifinals. And I'm going to sell the top of this board. I do not think that Barty is fairly priced now. The Snize, if you wanted to bet Barty, you had to do it when Snize tweeted it out like a month ago, because it was like 40 to 1 or something crazy. What did you get Barty at for Wimbledon?
41.
I was a bit late. I only got 13 to 1, but a couple of other guys got it for, I think it was 34, 40 to 1. So definitely the value is, especially with this draw now, it is lost on Barty, unfortunately. So now, you'd have to look elsewhere, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think you can actually, I think it's completely overreacted. I mean, I love Barty. She's amazing. She played amazing at Roland Garros and won fair and square, but she didn't really beat any of the top dogs to do it. She really did not have to, a lot of people kind of got out of her way. She did not have to take on Halep on clay. She did not have to beat Serena Williams. She did not have to, to do the hard work herself there. But, presumably in this quarterfinal, she's going to have to beat Serena, or she's going to have to beat Kerber. Presumably in this 4th round, she's going to have to beat Bencic. She's got some tough, matches here even to make it to the semifinals. So I think it is worth steering well clear of Barty at the top of the board here. Same goes for Serena Williams. This is kind of like what we talked about with the Women's World Cup, and France-England kick off here in 15 minutes. I can't wait to watch that match. Go USA. But, it was obvious they were going to meet in the quarterfinals. So the fact that they were co-favorites at 3 to 1 meant that there was value everywhere else. Right? Like they're only one of those teams was going to make it to the semifinals. Same thing goes with the likes of Barty, Serena, and Angelique Kerber. I think you cross those 3 off, and I think you start your handicap from that point on for the women's outright market, legitimately, because only one of those 3 women is going to make a semifinal. Karolina Pliskova, I also am going to cross off. This is like, yes, she has a new coach. Yes, she's playing the best tennis of her life, but she's never shown us anything at Wimbledon that says that she can all of a sudden pull it together and put together 2 weeks of spectacular tennis to get it done. So I'm crossing off Pliskova as well. Prove me wrong, Chris. Pliskova. That leaves that basically takes a ton of the top of the board out of the picture, which then I think presents a ton of value on the next tier of players. You got Kvitova, Osaka, Halep, I think are all have reasonable chances. Kvitova is going to have to play Sloane Stephens. I had Sloane Stephens circled. I don't think she should be 36 to 1. She should be closer to the 20 to 1 range. So I see value on Sloane Stephens. But but she's going to have to go through Kvitova, who's amazing on grass and really has kind of been saving some of her best tennis, it feels like, for later in the season. Osaka, same story. She shouldn't be 13-1. She should be like around 8 or 9-1. So there's value on Osaka. She's got a relatively favorable draw. I like Halep a lot, as I just mentioned, at 15-1, but Halep and Osaka are on a collision course for the quarterfinal in that fourth quarter. So you're going to have to kind of do a little bit of soul searching here and kind of choose between Halep and Osaka, choose between Kvitova and Stevens. But those are the four women whose value was immediately apparent as I was looking down the board. Once you kind of cross off the top of the board, who I don't think have very reasonable chances. I'm not buying Jo Konta. I'm not buying Kiki Bertens. I'm not buying Madison Keys. I'm not buying Amanda Asimova. I'm not buying Muguruza. I think they all have chances. Sure, they're all great players. Sure, but I think the prices don't really reflect their probabilities fairly in this one. So I think of the board right now, you're going to have to grab a couple lottery tickets and put them in your pockets. And of those lottery tickets, Kvitova, Osaka, Halep, and Stevens are the four that I'm the most keen on.
Yeah, it's a lottery, isn't it? The women's side. You never know who will win this tournament. That's why the bookies are giving more prop bets for the WTA part than for the ATP part, because it's wide open, as you guys said at the beginning. So we have tons of props for the women's side. But before speaking about prop bets, Snize, what is your approach on this one? Yes, you are on Ash Barty. You are on her at 13-1. Are you still on Ash Barty after this difficult draw? Will you cash out that ticket? What are you going to do?
Yes, indeed. I got Barty 30-1 before the tournament and before obviously the draw and everything released. That top half and top quarter in particular is just a quarter of death. It's unbelievable how stacked it is. We have Barty, we have Williams, Muguruza, Bencic, Julia Görges. Like those names alone, Serena Williams, Görges, that was last year's semifinal. Kerber is in there. Kerber Williams was last year's final. It's just completely mind blowing. So, but I think whoever gets out of that one wins the tournament. And I think it's a decent chance that it is indeed Ashley Barty. Grass is her best surface. She has the variety. She has the movement. She has the cool under pressure. She has shrewd point construction. She's got a great serve that she gets a ton out of her serve from her stature. She's got a wicked slice on her. So I still think, even though obviously the draw is a nightmare for her, I think it's either Barty or it's going to be Angelique Kerber. The one who wins that quarter final, I think, wins the tournament. So I'm not going to cash out on Barty, but as Wales said, there are plenty of opportunities elsewhere. So I've gone down to the lower quarters here, and I've found some ridiculous prices. And one that immediately caught my eye is Venus Williams. The 5-time Wimbledon champion is available at 80-1 to win the tournament. And if you look at her draw is pretty kind. In her draw, you've got in her quarter there, in her section, you've got Osaka. Obviously, you've got Kenin, you've got Halep, Keys. But Halep is not that good on grass, in my opinion. Osaka loads grass. She's not that good on grass either. So I have problems with both of those. Keys hasn't been able to get out the best of her ability on grass. And as Pliskova has her troubles with going deep, she's never been past round 4 and is now in the final. Fatigue might be a problem there. Williams will face Cody Gauff, 15-year-old, in the first round. And if she gets past her, I don't see anyone stopping her from reaching, at the very least, a semifinal. So I've gone on her to win outright. That's at 80-1. I've gone on her to win her quarter, which is available at 20-1. I've also gone from the third quarter. A name that caught my eye is Petra Martic, who's had an incredibly consistent season after coming back from a career-threatening back injury. She's got great variety. She's got great poise. And her quarter is a bit of a mess. Svitolina has gone 0-2 on grass. She's still recovering from a knee injury. So there's question marks there. Gasparin and Thackeray can also be taking her out. Sevastova is only 1-6 in main draw matches. And Martic is 4-1 versus Pliskova. So I'm also on Martic to win her quarter, which is quarter 3. Let me see what price I got. 1 second. That is available at 8-1. And I've also got about her to win the tournament at 50-1. So I think that it's very plausible that we see a Martic-Williams semi-final, and the winner there faces Kerber or Robardi in the final. So those are the looks that I like there on the bottom half. That is wide open.
Yeah, interesting thoughts. I think that Simona Halep, if she catches Venus Williams at Wimbledon, she will destroy her, but that is another thing. I don't think that Simona Halep has any chance on winning this tournament.
Yeah, let's get into Halep some. Let's get into Halep some, because there was a lot of her camp that came out after the French Open and said, yeah, we didn't do great here, but we were really focused on Wimbledon. And that was kind of like record scratch. Like, what? Like, huh? Like, is this for real? Like, can you shed some light on that, being Romanian? Like, is there truth to that? Because that's kind of been in the back of it's inception me to thinking like, oh man, she's going to pull out some amazing grass game that we've never seen from her before. Grab her and getting her at 15-1 has got to be some value. Like, what's the story here with Halep on grass?
Yeah, Dobre, her coach, exited after Roland Garros, saying that our main target is to win Wimbledon this year. It was not to win Roland Garros, and everyone was what? Wimbledon, come on. She had a pretty good run at Eastbourne. She was very, very unlucky to play against Kerber when Kerber was at her top level right now. I think that she still had a pretty good match, pretty good grass match, if you ask me. I never seen her play like that on grass. She doesn't have so many points to defend here at Wimbledon. So I think that she might be in for a deep run. I loved the fact that she played also doubles and she reached the semi-final with Raluca Olaru at Eastbourne to have some more grass time on court. She's playing against Sasnovic in the first round, a very, very tough player in my opinion. If she passes that first round, after that she might play against her fellow Romanian Puzărnescu, which is I think that an easy win for Halep. And after that, if she passes these two matches, anything is possible, mate. Because as soon as she gets her grass tennis in proper form, I think that she might be in the semifinals at least. And if she catches Venus Williams, I said to you, she will destroy her. But anyway, let's talk some props with you. Ash Barty to reach the final, 3.5. What I had here. Will Serena Williams reach the finals? No, at 1.1. That is good for an Akabet. Will Naomi Osaka reach the final at 7.0? Serena Williams to reach the final, I said. Sloane Stephens at 19. I think that Ash Barty to reach the final at 3.5. That is a really good price if she wins her quarter. But the price will go down if she wins her quarter, of course. Do you have anything as a prop bet for this WTA side?
I think I'm going to pass on those. And, if Ash Barty makes the final, I think she wins. I don't think anyone coming out of the bottom half is as good as her, who will give her a legitimate test. But my main hang-up is she may not make it there, just be based on the quality of competition in her immediate proximity. I think I'm more, obviously a lot more bullish on Osaka than Snize. I know that she hasn't played well on grass. I know that she's made some negative comments about her game on grass, but it all adds up to me. I mean, she's got the tools and she's got the mental the mental advantage over the field that you see when you're young and relatively invincible, and even when you're down, you claw your way back in like that. Just that kind of intestinal fortitude is huge in a women's slam final. So I think Osaka, even maybe not having perfect game for grass, I would still expect her to be a threat to win this tournament and Wimbledon's in the future. So if you're going to give me a price like she's currently lined at, then I'm interested. I don't know how I would handicap a Halep Osaka quarterfinal in that fourth quarter. But it does feel like I just look at that fourth quarter draw, and it looks like they're on a dead collision course there. I don't have much positive to say about any of the other women who are in that fourth quarter. So I think you're looking at Halep, Osaka, and whoever emerges from that fourth quarter takes on some surprise contender that emerges from the third. The Martic look was nice. She obviously has shown that she's got big game. That third quarter is wide freaking open. This is all conditional on Karolina Pliskova doing her annual choke job here. I think Halep or Osaka is still where I'm looking on the bottom half, and then in that second quarter, I think the winner of that Sloane Stephens Petra Kvitova fourth round match likely wins that second quarter, and then gets someone who has been through war to make the semifinals that comes out of that first quarter. So that's kind of the way I'm attacking this. Crossing my fingers is that some Kvitova obviously has shown us on grass that she can do this. Stevens hasn't, Osaka hasn't, Halep hasn't, so that's why they're priced the way they are. But I think the way that the draw stacks up, that they'll all be there in the end, and if they can find their form over this fortnight, then they got a shot. So that's my game plan.
Just great game plan. I hope that Simona Halep comes through for you here. She wins Wimbledon, and her coach will say after, I told you guys that our main target is Wimbledon, not Roland Garros. But two prop bets, very interesting ones for you guys to shop around for your prop bets, because very, very interesting one. Double bagel. 5.0, someone to be double baggled, they're 5.0, very interesting there. And also first time winner at 1.5, first time winner. I think that is a very good bet for a knockout bet. If you ask me, I think that we'll see a first time winner here. I think that 99%, I think that we will have a new Wimbledon winner on the women's side. On the first round, very, very nice matches. And you guys were talking about Osaka here. She will play against Yulia Putintseva. She's 0-2 against Yulia Putintseva, and she lost in Birmingham 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. She's priced at 1.38. Halep Stajnovic again, Rogers Kontaveit, Svitolina versus Gavrilova. Very interesting match, Eugenie Bouchard versus Zidansek. I think that is a match to take in consideration, because I think that Zidansek is good for a knockout bet against Eugenie Bouchard, out of form for the last years. Do you guys have any top bets for the first round, Snize?
Just to recap a bit there on the prop bets, I'd agree with Whale there. I think if you got...
We don't have time. We don't have so much time to recap, because we are past 1 hour. Just give us, please. Sorry for that, but we can talk for hours about Wimbledon. I think that we should do a 2-hour show next time for a major. Please, some top bets for the first round.
All right, so just real quick and dirty, I've gone with another moneyline parlay. I've gone with Caroline Garcia, Sofia Kenin, and Garbiñe Muguruza all to win. That's available at 1.97 or minus 103. I haven't locked in, but I'm likely going to add Iga Swiatek to win her match. The young Pole has been really impressive as of late, and I think she can get through Victoria Golubic. Another one that is of interest is a parlay with Martic and... let us see, where is the other player? like you said, Zidansek there against an out-of-form Bouchard, who's more about social media than actual tennis these days. So those are the looks right now that I like for round one for the women's.
Thank you. Wayne, do you have anything for round one?
As is typical, I will be watching the women's rounds 1 and 2 and not getting involved in match by match and see how they look.
Okay, I got you there. Full week next week with the guys. We have Whale on Monday for the World Cup women's semifinals. We have Whale for Wimbledon second round on Tuesday. We have Snize on Friday for the update on Wimbledon and future bets. And let's see how the week is going on next week. Full of football, African Cup of Nations, Gold Cup, Copa America. Just also some darts, also some esports. Full week next week, just to give you a top play for the Euro Under-21 Final on Sunday. Spain versus Germany, absolutely brilliant sides. Germany struggled in the last matches. Spain, match by match, got better. Very, very entertaining. They have a great attacking line there with Dani Ceballos leading the line there, but also with Fabian Ruiz from Napoli. They are scoring goals for fun. Both these teams scored 26 goals in 4 matches till now. Normally you should look at the over 2.5 goals in the match, which is around at 1.8, but me, for my best tip, I'm going with Spain to win at 2.0 in regular time in 90 minutes. They are on fire, Spain right now. Thank you guys for joining me. A pleasure to have you as always. Be sure that you will follow us on oddsmarket.com, because Joao is writing articles for every day, Wimbledon every day. He did amazing for Roland Garros, and I'm sure that he will do the same for Wimbledon. Thank you once again, Whale Capper and Snize Master. You can find them also on Twitter, and we'll see with them next week. Thank you, and thank you for watching.
Oh, here, let's go USA. Scoring chance.